we make the sound of the satellite, breaking through gravity. I am Jagger 67. I'm affected, you're selected. I want you with your twisted hair and your lip ring stare.
Welcome back to the ISR AIC and welcome to a brand new era. Season 7 begins here in Australia at the spectacular Black Rock Motor Resort, a circuit making its debut on the championship calendar and the perfect stage for what promises to be the loudest, fastest season in ISR history. The regulations have changed, the cars have evolved, and the sound of naturally aspirated V8 power once more echoes around the paddock. These machines are more demanding, more aggressive, and more spectacular than anything we've seen in recent seasons, and mastering them will be the first great challenge of this new campaign. Standing at the top of the mountain though is Kristian Vrazhilov, the reigning world champion, and after a dramatic Season 6 he returns with a number 1 plate on his car and a target firmly painted on his back. The hunt begins immediately though, because 21 other hungry drivers arrive in Australia with some ambition, some to rewrite their names into history, some to etch in for the first time and chase that first taste of glory. It's a new season, a new era of racing, and plenty opportunity then for silverware, and it begins right here at Black Rock. Welcome along to Douglas Anderson rejoining me in the box.
Hi Toby, hi everyone, thanks for having me back. I'm really excited to see how this season kicks off. We'll see if it can be as dramatic as last season was. I was obviously the last person in the commentary box for that amazing finale where Kristian Vrazhilov was crashed out of the final race of the season, but he still ended up taking the Drivers' Championship, and ART did the double-double. So here we go, this is the pole position then for the first round of the season, and it's Josh Wood who was able to snatch it at this very dramatic circuit. I've never heard of the circuit before, but the camber and elevation change is absolutely astonishing. It makes Zandvoort look like, you know, an air racing track, to be honest. The camber through here, big bit of opposite lock. There are quite a few moments of opposite lock throughout the lap, and another one there really putting the foot down is Josh Wood. Josh Wood being a 2-time race winner in AIC, I believe in Season 2 and Season 5, so he'll be looking to add a 3rd win to his AIC career. As you can see, going through around the middle of the track now, the elevation just from corner to corner, as that's a huge lock-up and bit of opposite lock there. He gathers it up though, and as we know, he does go on to take pole position, so he does carry on well for the rest of this lap. But I'm really excited to see how this season turns out. Obviously, we've had some amazing races, some really close racing, but also just a smattering of incidents to make the races as dramatic as possible. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what this first round of the season shows up, and these amazing sounding V8 cars. As Josh comes into the final parts of the lap here, coming up to the pit lane, and there he goes. Pole position in the bag, first pole of the season for Josh Wood.
So a season full of anticipation awaits the grid once more. Then we get ready to start a whole new era in season number 7, and it begins with the formation lap. We can see the guys pull away now, and it was Joshua Wood, of course, who took pole position for JR Racing, his first pole in some time, and like you say, he'll be looking to make that a hat-trick of victories moving into the new season. So this is the grid. Of course, Joshua Wood does take that pole position from Ed Cantwell. Ed Cantwell finished in P2 around here last season, so he goes well down under. He'll be the main challenge for our American on pole position today. Behind them is Tom McDonald lining up in P number 3. He's ahead of Joshua Wood's teammate Andrew Pavia lining up in P4 for JR Racing. Could they be a constructor's favourite early on? They look like they have a good race car around here. Gareth Lennon, P5, he's ahead of the man who took pole position in season number 6 around Australia, Jack Tolchard, who'll be looking to build on his strong form showing in season number 6. Elliot Hall is the only rookie on the ISR AIC season 7 grid. He lines up inside the top 10, P7, an impressive result ahead of Douglas Anderson in P number 8, looking to improve on his teammate. Olav Ovven then lines up in P number 9. He's ahead of season number 2 champion Josh Martin. He lines up P10, just inside of the top 10 for both Simstaff cars. Then it's an all bright yellow middle row for 11 and 12 of Jonathan Carrero, who won the final race in Brazil season 6. He edges out his team at P12, potentially the maximum that car can achieve in qualifying today. Marcus Towner lines up P13. He's ahead of Ed Cantwell's teammate Reinhard Ecker, who will be disappointed to be so far back from his teammate. Both of them will be looking to make gains throughout the race. Season 6 defending champion though, Kristian Vrazhilov, could only manage P15 in qualifying. He's ahead of Craig Evans, and again, he'll be looking to make his way up into the points to defend that title. Kevin Jacobs, season 4 champion, went fastest in pre-season testing, so by all respects, P17 is a disappointment. He lines up against P18. Colin McAllister will be looking to move forward. Philip Blum then lines up in P19, and it's Tom McDonald's teammate Craig McDonald in P20. Again, another man will be disappointed to be so far away from his teammate. And then lining up the final rows of the grid is runner-up from last season, Zach Swader in P21, and season 3 champion Toby Byrne, both having a bit of a miserable qualifying, but they'll be looking to improve with race pace here today. And that is your grid, ladies and gentlemen, for the first round of ISR AIC Season 7 at Black Rock Motor Resort. Built on the former site of a coal mine, but these drivers will be mining for bronze, silver and gold today, and the circuit cost an estimated 85 million, and it is our 6th visit to Australia, featuring in every season, excluding Season 2. We've had a lot of opening rounds here in Australia. We've had a few title tilting ones in Season 1 as well. It's bound to be a very exciting race, and the boys already can't wait to get going. Ed Kentwell potentially playing some mind games with Joshua Wood earlier on, just pulling him alongside and just maybe signalling that he doesn't want to be behind Josh Wood today. He wants to be alongside and ultimately ahead. But we will go to the grid for the 5 red lights for the first time this season. For the first time in 2026, we have V8 engines, we have double DRS, we have excitement as we get ready for those 5 red lights. The engines fire up, the 5 red lights kick in. Josh Road on your right, Ed Cantwell on your left, and it's lights out, and away we go as we go thundering uphill towards turn 1. A fantastic start then, by the looks of it, for Tom McDonald, looking like he's challenging for P2 around the outside of Ed Cantwell already going into turn number 1. Is he going to be able to hold it around the outside for Tom McDonald, all the way around the outside of Ed Cantwell? Oh, and he's gone wide! He's spun round 360 degrees, absolute chaos. Tom McDonald, he's somehow held on to it, but he's slipping down the order quick and fast, and here comes Elliot Hall up the inside. Jock Tolchard, he may be the rookie of the grid, Elliot Hall, but he is certainly getting stuck into things nice and early. He's gone around the outside of Jack Tolchard's fantastic start for the rookie, but season number 7 firmly underway, and it's firmly paused. First virtual safety car is paused, and it's unsurprising with Tom McDonald going around, but wow, Dougie, what a start.
Yeah, what a start, Toby. Such a shame for the Macca Motorsport car to be involved in that incident on the first lap. Wanted to make some gains, but he's ended up falling back, and that'll be very disappointing. But yeah, first virtual safety car of the season. We got that one out of the way very quickly. And we go green, no time hanging around, no time for the drivers to rest, straight back into the racing. We're following one of the JSR cars in that beautiful Benson and Hedges livery. We'll have to see how they perform across this season. I know they've, not had the strongest results in previous years, so we'll have to see how that beautiful car goes. As we follow now, Philip Blum, he's having a go at the car in front of him. I think he went offline a little bit there, so he's had to settle back behind him. We got 2 cars side by side behind them as well. This track is prompting some very good overtaking, Toby.
Into the final chicane then we go, and Craig McDonald just holds on in front of Philip Blum. I can see Colin McAllister and Toby Byrne getting into it in the background as well. So it looks like, is that Andrew Pavia? Andrew Pavia is down in P number 20. He lined up in P4 today. That's been a disastrous start for the American, and we said, could these guys be a dark horse for the Constructors' Championship already? Looking like they had a very good race car around here throughout practice and qualifying, but it's been a disastrous start for the America's team rate, and it's ended up with the entire field being a JR Racing sandwich from top to bottom. Pavia will be looking to make gains as Carrera is our first DNF of the season. He's retired on lap 1, so it will be interesting to see when the replays come through what happened. It looks like Andrew Pavia might have been caught up in that as well, but it was all spurred from Tom McDonald going 360 degrees, and he just went wide by the looks of things and got himself onto that grass, and around he went. And we said there were some guys looking to make up some moves, and staying out of trouble on the first lap, Dougie, is a fantastic way to do that.
the main thing we've seen from the last few seasons of, you know, some very chaotic racing at times is the people who are able to keep their noses clean are the ones who end up being able to fight for the championship at the very end of the season. So having an incident this early in the season, you know, you maybe get away with it, but it's your top priority. Just to keep yourself to yourself, try, you know, move up positions if you can, and just, you know, try keep yourself as consistent as possible. But aside from that, I don't think we've seen many incidents so far. I think everyone's keeping relatively clean, going through I believe that's the final chicane of the track. This track is so cool, I have to admit. The swoopy racing, you know, I just love this track so much already. Following Elliott Hall at the moment, as you said, our only rookie of the year. It'd be very interesting to see how he performs. We're now switching to Josh Martin and those beautiful sim staff cars. I believe he's sat behind his teammate Jack Tolchard at the minute. We'll see what inter-team battles we have going on throughout this season. I think it's one of the, it's a nice bit of opposite lock there. He really gets the hammer down. He's keen to get past his teammate, going through the extremely banked curb, very much like the carousel with the Nürburgring back corner. As I said, very interested to see how the inter-team battles pan out, because sometimes that can be just as exciting as the fight for the championship. So here we go. Start from Tom McDonald. We can see how his incident panned out. So he's going to be on the outside here, and he gets on the curb a little bit, and he's holding it, and yeah, there we go. Put his foot down. Perfect 360 spin. He doesn't make contact with any of the cars, I believe, but he throws him, he loses momentum, bit of opposite lock there as well. And, you know, I think when you lose your rhythm around a track like this, is really detrimental. As we're on board with one of the JR cars, Andrew Pavia, we're going to get a perfect view of the incident on board his car. So, a bit of opposite lock, and I don't know, did he maybe get tapped from behind as well, and he's into the barrier? I didn't actually spot that, Toby. And is he able to rejoin? He is able to rejoin. So yeah, lucky to keep out the ball. He did hit the barriers, but the key thing is that he's able to keep going, and sometimes that can be the balance between having a good season and a bad season, Toby.
100%. We're riding on board with Gareth Lennon moving into this, and we said, like we say, McDonald goes off on the right, and then Andrew Pavia, and yeah, there's just no way. He definitely did get a tap. Gareth Lennon did help the issue for Andrew Pavia, but I don't think there was anything more Gareth could have done, and it was just one of those crazy turn one incidents where the field bunches up so quickly because there's a spinning car in front and there's nowhere to go. Jonathan Carrera, it looks like he was our only DNF so far this race, so he was an early victim. Let's see what happens to him. So the chaos is unfolding right about now ahead. Everyone's checking up, you can see nice and slow, and Jonathan Carrera does get past Andrew, so he's past his point contract, but as he's tried to go up the inside of Vrazhilov, and the racing line goes to the apex. They're going downhill, just a little tap on Vrazhilov's rear tyre, and around Jonathan Carrera goes, and he must have stalled or something because he did retire from that incident. So a brutal start for the man who won the race, remember, won the final race, had the highest potential coming into this season, and he was voted, I believe, the official ISR one to watch. And we have another safety car deployed, a virtual safety car deployed once again. So let's see what's going on here. And Pavia is in pit road. Has Pavia DNF'd from the race? We'll see if we can catch him. And he does look like he's out. So Andrew Pavia is out. I'm not sure what has happened, and it is definitely a tough weekend for Pavia. And yes, he is very disappointed because, as you can imagine, he came into this into P4, his teammate P1. It was a very good opportunity for a double podium for JR Racing here today. They were very disappointed. Green flag, and Elliott Hall is already right up the rear of Tom McDonald. Has he caught Tom McDonald napping? The rookie, the Season 7 rookie, going up the inside of Tom McDonald into the final chicane. Side-by-side action. Can he pull it off all the way around the outside? What a move from the Season 7 rookie, the only man with no experience prior to this year, but it didn't look like it, did it? Elliott Hall has caught Tom McDonald napping as we go racing once again, and now Tom McDonald will be under pressure from Jack Tolchard, but what a move from the only man who's never raced in the ISR before, let alone the ISR AIC, and let alone around a brand new circuit. Very impressive stuff for the young Brit.
What an amazing move. To catch somebody straight off the back of the virtual safety car. He's a rookie, but he is not messing around. And now he's chasing after the one of the previous season's champions, Douglas Anderson. No hanging around from Elliott Hall as well. Driving on this circuit, has to be said. Oh, we got a car going up the inside into the camber corner, sorry. But he wasn't able to get the move done. Trying to follow one of the beautiful Leighton House-inspired cars, I believe. Yeah, it's such a shame to see Andrew Pavia. Obviously, he was able to get out the barrier, as I said, and I did mention, how you just gotta keep your nose clean, don't retire from races. But unfortunately, he is going to end this one in the pits. He's going to be very disappointed. But I'm sure with the pace that he showed in qualifying and in the very early part of the race, I'm sure he'll be back stronger next race, Toby.
Toby Byrne going up the inside of Colin McAllister onto the long sweeping corner that comes onto the back straight. Side-by-side action for CGM Motorsport and Scuderia Alitalia RN side-by-side, and it looks like the CGM just has the top end and defends its position for now. Byrne will try force the issue, and a big slide from McAllister keeps him ahead. So some fantastic racing up and down the field. And yes, like you say, it is a shame for Andrew Pavia. It'll be interesting to see what happened to him. We think he did pick up front wing damage, but the leaders are into the pit lane on lap number 5. Joshua Wood and Cantwell rescind the race lead, and Gareth Lennon now leads the race. They're the first ones to pit. I think there's a couple of us in McDonnell. Byrne have also pitted. So we can see on the left-hand side graphic here, Dougie, the tyre indicator is slightly broken. It should have different numbers for compounds, but at the moment we can verify those who are on the medium compound of tyre are running in grey, and those who are on the soft compound of tyre are running into yellow. So I believe Josh Wood, Ed Cantwell, Tom McDonnell and Byrne have all just swapped from the medium onto the soft compound of tyre, so going a bit more aggressive in the second stint. We can see Hall is the leading medium driver, so going on that more aggressive strategy. And to be fair to him, he has made it work. He's caught some of the harder compound drivers napping, but Ed Cantwell is really keeping Joshua Wood honest this race, isn't he? He's been within a second of him pretty much the entire Grand Prix so far, so it'll be interesting to see if that pressure amounts to anything. And he did put a lot of pressure onto the end of Tom McDonnell in season number 6, so he's very good at working the pressure, prolonged pressure, and hoping Josh Wood makes a mistake. But Josh has won a race twice before. Ed Cantwell has only won a single race, and that came last season. Elliott Hall is really gaining on Douglas Anderson under DRS into the final chicane, riding on board, like we say, is the only rookie of season number 7, and he looks so comfortable in this Nemesis Racing team. The Nemesis Racing car in general looks so much more comfortable to what we've seen the last couple of seasons. Could this be the return for the Italian Stallions, and could Elliott Hall be the missing jigsaw piece? We'll have to see, because he's all over the back of Douglas Anderson coming into turn 1, moving quite slowly now into turn 1 as these guys are battling for grip. We ride on board with the back of the season number 5 champion, and he has a new hungry British Nemesis Racing team driver chasing him down on one step compound softer. But at the moment Douglas Anderson is holding firm, but this is a sign like it's a race of consistency on such a difficult circuit, and it's also a race of tyre strategy. But Ed Cantwell still, Dougie, maintaining that pressure.
Yeah, he's just been able to, he's just hanging on the back. He'll be gutted to have missed out on pole position, but he's very good grip position counts. And we've got Elliott Hall, as you said, hanging on the back of Douglas Anderson on the softer tyres, so it'll be interesting to be split over to the soft compound as early as we have seen some of the drivers do. Maybe they know something we don't. Maybe these soft tyres are actually just, they've got so much life in them, and they'll just carry on to the end of the race. We'll have to see. But yeah, no, we've got some people running some pretty good strategies right now. Elliott Hall, I think he's slightly dropped off Chris Anderson. I hope that was a lockup and not a beginning of an engine failure there. But is he going slowly? He's got a puncture. Douglas Anderson's convenient, and he was coming up to the pit lane, but my god, that was, yeah, as you can see, the tire has come off the rim, sparks and all. We'll have to see if this has damaged the suspension of the ART. That, ART coming into this race, double champions, and they had a lot to prove coming into this, and this certainly won't help. Wow, so we finally got another bit of drama, Toby. Yeah, completely unexpected.
I did just see as they exited that final chicane, I saw a little pop, a little puff of smoke from the rear of the ART. I wasn't sure, like you say, if it was the beginnings of an engine failure or what it was, but that has delaminated at significant speed, almost reminiscent to the kind of thing we would see back in 2013, the Pirelli drama in Formula 1. So it'll be very interesting to see. And was that just a case of pushing a bit too hard? This is such an unforgiving circuit. It's up, it's down, it's left, it's right, it's crazy levels of camber. But Ed Cantwell is not letting that get into him. He really looks in the zone, and to be fair, Joshua Wood is doing a fantastic job. He's also not cracked under the pressure. A little lock up there for Ed Cantwell as he tries to close the gap, and he has temporarily fallen out of DRS range. Another thing I just want to highlight, Douglas Anderson has come back out of the pit lane following his puncture repair in P19, and he's on pink, which means he's come out on the ultra soft tyre. So I'm unsure of the strategy there, and it looks like Callum Spencer's cutting around on the ultra soft tyre as well. So a race strategy very interesting for Spencer, and of course a retaliation of a puncture from Anderson. It's interesting to see that despite the puncture and the extended time for that pit stop, he has come out ahead still of Douglas. He's come out ahead of Callum Spencer. Sorry. So we were just seeing the scrapes on the ground there as well. So Anderson really dragging that rim across the circuit on his attempt to get back to the pit lane. He's very lucky it happened where it did. Not further on, this is Jack Tolchard exiting the pit lane. He was running just ahead of his teammate early on. He comes out of the pit lane, will look to come back out, I assume ahead of his teammate, but here comes his teammate Josh Martin. It's going to be a battle into turn number 1, and through goes Josh Martin up into P number 9 ahead of his teammate. The sim staffs have swapped positions, and I wonder if that was planned, because it what did look like Martin pitted early, but side-by-side action for Kristian Vrazhilov and Kevin Jacobs, and wow, very lucky. Kristian Vrazhilov goes across the curbs, goes across the grass, and he's pushed off by Kevin Jacobs, and Tolchard is questioning the decision, so I don't think that was planned, and they claim it was to cover Spencer, and that they'll discuss later, but those two got into it several times, didn't they? When the safety car comes into effect, everything pauses for just a moment. But just to quickly cut back to Simstaff, they got into it a few times last season, Dougie. Looks like we could be starting again.
The seeds of drama are already being sown. I love to see it. We're on board here with Elliot Hall. I'm just seeing if this maybe see cause of the virtual safety car. So he's going up the inside, and he keeps it on track. I'm not too sure what happened there. But yeah, obviously Elliot Hall, doing a very good job of keeping it on the island, on board with Andrew Bavir, gutted to be out of this race as early as he was. Is this maybe the instant why? Oh, is that it's another puncture, Toby. So that's 2 punctures that we've had. Andrew Bavir has obviously ended his race. It was that severe. So Douglas Anderson, very, very lucky to have his puncture pretty much coming up to the pits. Otherwise, he could have. The exact same fate could have befallen him. As we're on board now with Craig Evans, one of the NLR cars, and where is he? No, he got a car inside of him. Oh no, but he's on the grass. Oh, he just come out the pits, maybe on cold tires into the barrier, and is that maybe why we got the virtual safety car? Who knows? But on board with his team now, God, we've got quite a few incidents happening now. So it was the 2 teammates again. So we've had the sim staff cars kind of getting lightly involved with each other, and the NLR cars getting lightly involved with each other. Like I said, the seeds of drama already been sown this early in the season, Toby.
Absolutely riding on board with Callum Spencer. This might be why he's behind. Oh wow, high speed explosion, and he's done very well to get that slowed down for the chicane, and that's where we've seen the absolute engraving. Callum Spencer's rim leaving its autograph all over the circuit, and he's causing a huge train behind him, which will cause chaos with pit strategies. And it looks like Spencer was able to get back to the pits, was able to get that repaired, and astonishingly, despite sanding down his rim to what I can only assume feels a bit more like a triangle than a circle at the moment, they've got him back out on circuit, so that might be why he's so far behind Douglas Anderson. Green flag is back out, and we're racing once again in Australia, and it's Olav Odven putting the pressure on our defending champion, who's round about 14th. He was just behind the Season 4 champion, and the man, of course, who was fastest in pre-season testing, Kevin Jacobs. So it's quite a talented set of people, considering they're only in 13th, 14th, and 15th, and that's a lock-up for Kevin Jacobs ahead. Toby Byrne, the Season 3 champion, of course, is behind them, and then Zach Swader, who finished runner-up last season, is only 2 seconds further down the road. So this is a nice little train forming behind Kevin Jacobs as we come on to the long straight following the long curving right-hander, and the tyres are really being pushed to the limit. We have several cars now pitting as the strategies come to a head. There's 3 laps to go, so these people are leaving it quite late on, but these guys are so close together. It's quite clear that dirty air is not that much of an issue. It's all about sustaining consistent pressure here this afternoon, and Kevin Jacobs is holding on to that quite well at the moment. Joshua Wood returns to the race lead ahead of Ed Cantwell, and Gareth Lennon has crept up into P4, but he does look like he is dropping down the field at the moment. I wonder if something's happened there, but going into turn 1, Craig McDonald is in P10. We've got a yellow flag and a safety car has been deployed, and what is that for? We saw Gareth Lennon going down the order, Dougie, but I'm not sure, and it is Gareth Lennon in the fence, and he looks like to be out of this race, so close to home. He was in a podium position as well, Dougie. That is heartbreak for the Northern Irish.
CGM car finding itself in the barrier, absolutely gutting for Gareth Lennon. Feel so sorry for him. So he's come out the pits on cold tyres. Are we going to see another incident where Yes, so we've seen so many drivers across this race. Oh, he's so close to clipping another car there. And yeah, going wide early on in the lap, getting onto the grass and spinning into that barrier. We've seen so many drivers do it. So many drivers having punctures as well. This race has really thrown up a bit of a wild card. So on board here with Elliot Hall, who I think has just made his pit stop. And here we go. How close is he going to get to Gareth Lennon? Oh, you struggle to fit a cigarette paper between the 2 cars there. But Elliot Hall, big bit of opposite lock, but he keeps his nose clean, and his dream debut in AIC continues. But for Gareth Lennon, it's another disappointing race. Feel very sorry for him. Here we go, racing, green flag. We've now only got a couple of laps to go. We'll see if we get any more punctures, any people more spinning off. It's been a great race so far, Toby.
Ed Cantwell resumes immediate pressure. He's half a second behind Josh Wood. Now it sees these guys are in second and third, but Lennon has of course retired. So this is the battle for the race victory. This is the battle for the first win for honours in season number 7. And it is Ed Cantwell putting the pressure onto Josh Wood, who was stood like an iron wall of defence the entire Grand Prix. Ed Cantwell sliding through that cambered corner as he desperately searches for the throttle pedal. But as these guys have pitted on lap 5, their tyres are 4 laps old now, and these tyres will be getting quite literally a bit tired. It'll be like having to remember there is an egg underneath your throttle pedal that you do not want to crack as we go through the final chicane and up towards the penultimate and final corner. Ed Cantwell has really stayed within this, and if there is any dirty air, that is another detriment to how well Ed Cantwell has driven to maintain that gap despite the loss of downforce. And DRS then onto the start-finish straight, up for another attack into turn 1. He's right there, but he's not close enough. He feints to the inside, but Joshua Wood does not fall for it. He does not yield. Fantastic defence by the American, searching for his hat-trick of victories again. And just to quickly cut back to a moment of sorrow for Gareth Lennon, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He really feels these DNFs, and to be so close to getting a podium in his first race, that would have been a fantastic result for him, and to lose it through what looked like quite a relatively simple error is devastating. But those are the margins we're working with here in New South Wales. New South Wales famous for Bathurst as well, a track that also does not forgive you, and they don't make tracks easy out here, do they? So it is all about those very fine margins, but the fine margins are right at the front. Is 0.8 of a second. Joshua Wood from Ed Cantwell, sorry. It's the battle for P1, P2, and Ed Cantwell is still, Dougie, within DRS.
He's hanging on in there. He's only got a couple of laps to try and make anything happen, but what a defensive drive we've seen from Joshua Wood. Pole position, and he's held that lead so well. Ed Cantwell, he's put a lot of pressure on, but even through the pit stop phase, these two were glued together, and I don't know who we're going to see cross the line in first place. As we can see here, we got previous winners down under, and we got a good range of drivers. But yeah, we'll have to see who's able to get this amazing Grand Prix in the bag. We had a couple of retirements, obviously. We're just going to have to see who can get across the line. See if we get any more punctures, any more drivers spinning off into the grass, Toby.
Come on to the penultimate lap. Lap 11 of 12 begins with Josh Wood again resuming his defensive drive from Ed Cantwell. We're looking at Toby Byrne at the moment. He's following Olaf Oddven ahead in P12. Kristian Vrazhilov has had a decent drive. He's moved up from P15 to P11. He's one position away from taking a point in this session. He's just got the Season 4 champion, Kevin Jacobs, to get ahead of. Not too bad of a driver to get by. Quite easy then, surely. The Season 4 champion, the man who holds the record for the most dominant season in ISR AIC history, has finally looked a little bit more like himself throughout pre-season testing. He's been bested by his rookie teammates so far today, head and shoulders. And Elliot Hall, speaking of the devil, is closing in on Josh Martin himself. Josh Martin has snuck up into P number 3 from that good strategy from Simstaff here today, but that will be fueling the fire inside the helmet of Jack Tolchard, I'm sure, because that strategy has put him within contention of a podium when it was Jack Tolchard who was undercut by his own teammate. But here we go then, this could be one of the final opportunities for Ed Cantwell. He's gaining, but he's nowhere near when it comes to the final chicane. But that ultimately puts him in a very good position to take an attack into turn number 1 again. We come up towards the final couple of corners, Dougie. There's one more lap to go after this.
One more lap. We'll see if it's able to serve up any drama in the opening race of this AIC season. Has he got a run on him? He's going to have a bit of a run on him into the beginning of this lap. We'll see if Joshua Wood's iron defense can hold up for just a couple more seconds, couple more corners. He's getting the. I think that has he dropped back a little bit? Oh, the flow of this track is so good. You got to keep your momentum up, got to keep your rhythm up through these insane cambered corners. One tiny mistake and you can really lose a lot of time to your competitors, Toby. Yeah, what a race, what a track.
Fantastic stuff, and it actually looks like Josh Martin and Elliot Hall have been gaining on these two. As we come through this corner, you'll just see now, there's Josh Martin, Elliot Hall just behind him. So these guys have definitely, I think those guys pitted a bit later, so the tyre wear is definitely catching up to them, but Joshua Wood is so close to home. We're in sector number 3. There'll be one more realistic opportunity. Look at them both sliding through the slow corners. Their tyres are absolutely cooked, and that is evident by how quickly Josh Martin is catching them behind. This is the last opportunity then for Ed Cantwell. We come onto the back straight for one more time. He will be within DRS. He'll get one more run at the American, but you've got to imagine, unless something goes drastically wrong, Joshua Wood is in a prime position. The gap comes down to 5/10 of a second, now just under, but it is Josh Wood who gets the better exit and moves his way up to the penultimate corner, and this is it. One more corner stands between Josh Wood and the first victory of ISR AIC Season 7. It's Joshua Wood. He takes the hat-trick. His third career victory comes down under, and Joshua Wood takes the victory for JR Racing ahead of a fantastic assault by Ed Cantwell. Josh Martin picks up a very well-earned third place and fantastic, surely driver of the day performance from Elliot Hall to move up into P4 in his debut. But this is his first victory since Season 5, Round 7. It's been at least a full season since this man stood atop of the podium, Dougie. What a race.
What a race, what a drive from Josh Wood. Pole position, kept good pace all the way through the race, even through the pit stop phase, held Ed Cantwell off. Ed Cantwell will be gutted that he didn't come away with a win from that. It was such a good drive. But it was a very good day for the Team Disconnect team, as was the Simstaff team, with a little bit of team drama sprinkled in there, so we'll have to see how that pans out. But yeah, we got Josh Wood, Ed Cantwell and Josh Martin on the podium. Elliot Hall, amazing drive in his first race in AIC. You got Jack Tolchard, Tom McDonald, Marcus Townend, Reinhard Ecker, Craig McDonald, and Kevin Jacobs rounds off the top 10, with Kristian Vrazhilov, our defending champion. I think he was able to make up a couple of positions from where he started, but no points on debut. No points at the beginning of the season, not just for him but for the ART team in general, who are going for the triple, I guess. Not a promising start for them, but it's early days so far, Toby.
Of course, and it's very important to remember in the case of ART, they had a miserable start to Season 6. They went, I think they went into round number 4 on single points for the entire team, so they had a really difficult race, and then they just switched it on, and for me, that is such a story of the AIC as we move on to the second grade. Olaf Odfman P12, Toby Ben P13, and Zach Swader P14. Those guys started towards the back of the field, and by just staying out of trouble, they was able to climb up to almost within scoring difference. But that is such a story of the AIC for me, to get back to my earlier point of do not give up, because we did not have a title battle forming until at least the middle of last season. So whilst Joshua Wood has got the perfect start, we saw Tom McDonald had the perfect start last season, and he was nowhere near the title battle by the end of the season. So we have no idea, Dougie, where this is going to go. But 25 points in the bag, it's not a bad thing. It's only going to help you in these situations. And I think this might be the first time in a long time that we've had an American leading us from the beginning of the season in terms of the championship. That will be confirmed on this grid here. Joshua Wood is leading the championship for the first time since season number 1. So I'll be very happy with that performance. It's a very good start for JR Racing. Andrew Pavia had some disappointing events go on today, but he did qualify P4, so JR Mobile 1 are looking very promising. And are we safe to say that the likes of Nemesis Racing Team are back, Dougie?
Could very well be back, Toby. They had a very, very strong race today. Maybe not as strong as the Sim Staff team, but as we say, Joe Bar Mobile 1, Sim Staff and Team Disconnect are the team right at the top of our championship. We'll have to see how things pan out. As you said, a bad start isn't necessarily the best thing. Sometimes you just turn on your pace in the middle of the season and let the results flow. But no, yeah, we got a decent spread of teammates across this race. Some people doing very well, some people doing very badly for their teams. So yeah, no, it looks like a very promising start to the season. These cars look they look amazing, they sound amazing. I think it's one of the best years that we've had for liveries in general. So yeah, very, very promising start for AIC Season 7, Toby.
Fantastic stuff, and thank you yourself again for joining me in the box to get this season underway. Next time out, we travel over to Malaysia for a race around Sepang. It's been a while since we've raced around Sepang. It's been even longer since Formula 1 has raced around Sepang. We last visited there in season number 4, and it was Damien Haskins who took that victory. He's no longer with us in this series, but who can take the winner's honours and become the second ever winner in Malaysia? Will it be Josh Wood returning to form? Will it be Ed Cantwell getting the best of him? Will it be someone completely different? You just never know in the AIC. You'll have to tune in to find out. But until then, thank you so much to Dougie, thank you so much to yourself, and until next time, goodbye.